Hi guys, Albert from Toyota Tribe here. Today we are going to be putting on a TRD Pro Grille, doing the daytime running lights and your fog lights.
First step, we're going to take these 10mm bolts off the top of your grille. And the next part, you're going to make sure you disconnect the wires right here, and you're going to pop this clip off. There's one on the driver's side and the passenger side. I do recommend for any clips, use a pry tool. You can use a screwdriver, but it's easier to break it when you use a screwdriver. So you have these bolts back here behind the grille. There's 4, 2 on each side. It's easiest if you can just get over the grille rather than go through it. Alright, this next step, you want to take all these bolts out of your wheel well. Unfortunately, River from Toyota Tribe's truck sucks. It has baby tires on it, they get in my way. Okay. Just that little piece. So you just pull it over this little piece that catches right on that little lip right there. Yeah, it makes it pop off pretty easy. Okay, 4 bolts down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next step, remove the shutters. Disconnect this wire first. And you got 6 10mm bolts to take off. This piece taken off. Looks like it just has 2 screws. Next, we're going to disconnect the TSS cover. Okay, next step, we're going to take out this whole bottom piece so we can get the fog lights free. Alright, now it's time for all the clips. The most fun part of this whole thing. Alright, for the fog lights, you will have to remove this piece. You may not have to do that for the grill itself, but we do need to get access to these screws underneath it right here. So each light is going to get one that looks like this, and one that looks like that. Just line them up with the screw holes how you unscrewed it. Comes with 4 washers. Let's get the TRD Pro Grill ready to be installed. First step, you're gonna connect your letters. Some of them do have the letters pre-installed. You may have to install them yourself. They'll just come with screws and you'll screw it to the back. Once you have all your letters in, you're just gonna line it up with these screw holes and then screw it down. Pretty simple. You're gonna need to take these off of your previous grill. You're gonna slide them in there for the TSS cover. Damn, that thing's stiff. Next, we're going to install the light bar right here. I do recommend lining it up first with the plastic on it. You don't want to get any fingerprints or any smudges on that. Because this does sit on top of the light bar a little bit to help secure it down. And it does come with your screws, and then you'll just screw in the five spots. Okay, so it does matter which screws go where. There's going to be 3 bigger ones and you'll have 3 smaller ones. So the smaller ones go on these 2 bottom ones. The bigger ones go on the top next to the letters. So you're gonna have to take your camera off of the factory one and install it on the aftermarket one. You will need a very small screwdriver for those screws that connect to your camera. Just know that. You can reinstall this bracket. Install the shutters. So you got your 6 bolts and then your wire connection right there. You want to make sure that all of your wires are in an easy spot to access before you screw it all the way back down. Now that we got the grill back on, go ahead and reinstall this piece, and then we'll reinstall the top chrome. Again, you'll just line up the clips, click them into place, just how you did with the grill. Alright, for the DRL lights, you have a couple clips in the back. Super easy to do once you have the grill off. You do not have to take the grill off to be able to do this, but a lot easier if you do. You get the new one, and you'll have this piece right here. It's kind of the one pointy side. It's going to go down at the bottom right there. Make sure you feed your wires through first, and you're just going to click it all into place. Once you have that done, reinstall this side fender to the grill. Alright. Now we're just reattaching this side fender back to the grill. Possibly, if I can line it up. There it is. Reinstall the screws on the bottom. Alright, next step we're going to be doing the Raptor light wiring. So you're going to connect your Raptor lights. You want to keep this tight. Use zip ties if you can. Keep it out of the way of everything, every moving part and all that. I'm running it underneath this piece right here to the fuse box, and we're going to connect to the INJ fuse, which is right here, this number 10 fuse. You can see that on your fuse panel. So we're going to go to that one right there. And then for our ground, we are going to connect back here with this one right here, which is another ground for the vehicle. You will need to get this tool out of the other fuse box. It is a clip grabber. It makes it super easy to get the fuses out. We'll use our tool we grabbed, take the 10 amp fuse from the INJ, and then we're going to put that into our ATA fuse with our other fuse on there. Make sure you have 2 in there, it is very important. And then we will be replacing that into the INJ slot of our fuse box. And then to make things nice and clean, we'll run the red wire to the back side of the fuse box right here next to this orange one. Get that set in there so it doesn't crimp on the cover or anything like that. And once you have done that, you'll have your Raptor lights successfully installed. They should turn on when you turn your ignition on. Here we are using a power probe to test which wire we need to tap into for our DRL lights that flash with the turn signals. We do recommend using the power probe so you can find the correct wire for your vehicle. Alright, once you have found the correct wires to tap into, you're going to want to put some waterproof sealant on there. Make sure no water gets in there and messes anything up. And then you're going to have to pinch this down on the wire until you hear it close all the way. You want to make sure it's not loose or anything like that, because any looseness the lights won't work. So get in there, make sure it's clamped down all the way. You may need to use some pliers. And once you have it done on the driver's side, make sure you move on to the passenger side, do the same thing with the sealant, and then pinching that down really good on there. Here's what your tap will look like once you've successfully gotten that wire connected to your vehicle and then the yellow wire connected to the tap.
here's the connected wires on the passenger side. Same thing, T-tap push down, yellow wire connected to the T-tap. It's good to go. Alright, now we're going to feed the wires that are going to provide power to your DRL lights. You're going to make sure that you run it to the passenger side, because at least on the hybrid Tundra, there is a power wire that we can connect to, and then there's a ground right next to it as well. Makes it super easy to access both things at the same time. Now for connecting the power, you are going to use your power probe again to find the power wire for your truck's light system. You're going to tap into that one, and same thing as before, make sure you put your water sealant on there, pinch down super hard on that tap and get that red wire connected to the back of it. Here's where we put the negative cable for those lights. You're going to connect it right here. Just make sure it's on there really nice and snug so it doesn't slip out or anything like that. Now we are running the wire harness for the light bar to the battery. In the hybrid Tundra, it is underneath that rear driver's side seat, so you'll have to pull that up. There is a way you can fit the wire underneath the plastic, feed it into that battery bay. It is a little bit of a tough squeeze in there, but you can get it done. And as you can see, we did lift up this side trim to fit the wires in there so that they're seamless. You don't see them, kids can't get caught on them or anything like that. You can feed it up to the dash so you can place your button in there next to all the other buttons and then feed it to your light bar without having to see the wires. Once you have your wire fed up there, you're going to want to pop this part of your dash off. Make sure you use a pry tool just so it doesn't damage any of the plastics or anything on your dash like that. But you will need to remove this so that you can get access to the back panel and be able to install your button. Here's the wires that you're going to need to feed into your button, and then right here behind the dash you can see we took out this blank button where we are going to install our light bar button. Here's how we connected our wires to be able to connect them to our light bar button. Here's a little overview of how everything is connected. We go from the battery, feed it to the engine bay where the light bar is, and you see we connected that and we fed it through where they feed the other wires into the cab. Then we're going to make sure everything's closed up, everything's clicked back into place, that way we don't see those wires or